Hi, and welcome to our first in our videos for our computer hardware class. Chapter 1 is an overview of everything and all the chapters to follow. Chapter 1 is testable material, and anything that I go over in these series of Chapter 1 videos should be taken down as notes. If you see something bold and underlined, it especially should be taken down as notes. And if you have any questions at any time, you can stop and email me if we're not in class this time, or raise your hand if we are, to clarify any points that are on there. Also, we have our class forums to ask questions as well as the online chat. So, the next section, we're going to talk about storage devices. And there's two kinds of storage devices. There's temporary, and there's permanent. The CPU only talks to the temporary storage because the CPU just needs to store information while it's calculating. That's what it does. It doesn't hold things for long term. It holds it for milliseconds, nanoseconds, as it uses it and pulls it back. Okay, so CPUs don't talk to permanent storage. They only talk to temporary storage. So as we get into that, it's kind of confusing for some people. And the way you need to think of it is, if you're the CPU, and you're taking a math test, you want all the information to be right here at your desk that you're using, right? You don't want to have to go back to a textbook to get it. It takes too long if you had to walk to the library to look up how to do a problem, to come back here to do the problem. So all the information is temporary, and it's in memory and temporary storage. The CPU only talks to that. Secondary storage. Secondary storage is where things are permanently stored. CPU doesn't talk to it. It's secondary to the CPU. It's where we store things, where we save things, where we ask the CPU to save things. It's permanent. It's like hard drives and DVDs and flash drives and CD-ROMs. And in days of lore, floppy drives. Don't use those anymore, right? So secondary storage is permanent. It's long-term. It's slow as molasses as compared to memory. Thousands of times slower than memory, which is why CPU won't talk to it. It doesn't want to have anything to do with it. Motherboard can move stuff over there when it's ready. I don't talk to it because I'm the CPU, and I only talk to fast people. Okay, so secondary storage is where programs, data, the operating system, information is stored permanently. And when we say permanently, we mean until we mean to take it away. Doesn't mean a hard drive can't fail. Doesn't mean there's any guarantee it'll be there, right? It just means that until we say delete it or until it fails, it will be there. It's permanent storage. Secondary storage is permanent storage, but it's secondary to the CPU because the CPU can't access it. The motherboard accesses it and copies it to memory for the CPU to access. Types of secondary storage. The most common that we have here at school, we have regular old-fashioned spinny drives, represented by the one on the left far over there. Oh, my hand disappears when I do that. Way over there, you can see the spinny drive. It's opened. It's not opened. That would be a failed drive right there. And then we have two other newer models, the solid state right here by SanDisk and M.2 solid state right here by Samsung. Those are far faster than a spinning drive, but they're also not as reliable as a spinning drive to an extent. So we can have all these kinds of storage devices inside our computer. In general, you guys all have solid state drives in your laptops. Some of you actually have SanDisk. Most of you have Kingstons. Our Moodle server runs on this. Nope, this is only 500 gigabytes. Ours is 2 terabytes of storage. Yep. And then most of the other stuff is stored on one of those spinny drives. And most of you at home may have a spinny drive. And like I said, they're far slower, and we're going to learn the positives and the negatives of all these kinds of drives in Chapter 7 when we talk about secondary storage. Other secondary storage that we use or may use all the time, optical drives. Optical means CD, DVD, Blu-ray. It means it's stored on a disc, and it's read on a laser with optical storage. In other words, it looks at it. It doesn't It doesn't touch it. It's just looking at a disk when you read it. So it's called optical storage. And then obviously flash drives, which I've gotten huge. The flash drive I've got right here on the side of this laptop is 128 gigabytes. You would have not thought that was even possible when I was your guys' age. Our floppy drives held 128 kilobytes of data. Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? So, no, megabytes. 128, no, kilobytes of data. It's so long ago. Anyway, so we've got those other secondary storage devices that we have available to us as well to store things permanently, as long as we don't send it through our laundry and our jeans. It'll be there, right?